variables in Python programming language. It is variables. So variables, if I talk about the definition about the variables, so variables is basically a reserved word. So a a variable is a reserved word, reserved memory area. It is not a word, it is basically a reserved memory area, or you can also say it is a memory address to store the value. To store the value. So whenever you are creating any variable to store any value, let's consider I am creating a variable, this is the name of the variable. I am storing the 4 value. So what will happen? First, a memory will be reserved for this a variable. Basically, the memory will be reserved for this v4 value, and then the allocation of this value will be provided to a. If in case, let's consider I have created a multiple variable, that is a b variable which is also storing 4. There is a c variable which is also storing 4. There is a d variable which is also storing 4. So multiple memories will not be allocated in Python. A single memory will be allocated, but the reference of all these variables will be provided to that memory. That means b will also be reflecting to that particular memory address. C will also be reflecting to that particular memory address. D will also be reflecting to that particular memory address. But if in case there is any other variable which is storing the different value, that is E is storing the 5. So another memory will be available, will be provided to the 5 variable, and the reference of that value will be provided to the E variable. Okay, so in this way the memory allocation will take place in Python programming language. If in case there is another variable f which is also storing the 5, so the reference of this value will be provided to the f variable. If in case I am deleting, let's consider I am deleting the f variable, I want to delete the f variable, so I have used the delete statement, and using the delete statement I said that I want to delete f. So what will happen? Instead of deleting the memory, it is simply going to delete this reference. It is simply going to remove this particular reference from the memory, and rest other things will remain the same. So this reference will be removed, but the value, that means the memory that is allocated to the value, will not be removed. So this reference will be removed from the memory due to this delete statement. Now basically we are done with the variables part. So let's do some practical implementation. We already have implemented multiple things. Now let's do some practical implementation of the variables as well. So here I am creating a new file, variables.py. .py always .py is always necessary because it is the extension to create a Python file. Now here I am creating a variable, that is name, which is storing John. This is our first name. The age is 25. Then salary is 25,000, and I want to simply print name, I want to print age, I want to print salary. First I have defined the variable, now I am printing the variable. If I will execute this, I will get the output as John 25 and 25,000. For the line number 4 I am getting John, for the line number 5 I am getting 25, and for line number 6 I am getting the 25,000. So line number 1, line number 2 has created the variable. So using the line number 1, what I am doing, I am simply reserving a memory address. Basically a John value is provided with a memory, and the reference of this John value is provided to the name variable. In the similar way, the 25 is provided with the memory address, and the reference of 25 is provided to the age variable. Then in the similar way, salary is created. Basically the 25,000 is created, and the reference of the 25,000 is provided to the salary. Okay. So we are done with the variables part. Let's before completing this topics, let's discuss one more type. Let's consider I want to check the type of the data which I have stored. Let's consider I want to check what kind of data I have stored inside the line number 1. So what I can do, I can use the type of function. Basically, I can use type to check. Let me write the comment over here to check the type of data stored inside a variable. We can use type keyword. Type is also a default keyword. So using type keyword, I can check the data what kind of data I have stored inside that variable. So let me write over here. On the line number 9, I am typing print, and then I want to check the type of name variable. And then on the line number 10, I want to check the type of age. On line number 11, I want to check the type of salary. I will execute this. As you can see, first the line due to line number 9, I am getting the string, because inside the name variable I am storing the string data. Why I am calling this as a string data? Because data is stored inside the double quotes or the single quotes. For the line number 10 also, I am getting a str because I have stored the data inside the string, that is a double quotes. If I will remove this string and if I will execute this program again, the class will change from str to int, because previously I was storing the data inside the double quotes, but now I am not using the data inside the double quotes. So if I will execute this again, as you can see, class is changed from str. Before it was str, now it is int, because now it is storing the integer data type. Initially earlier it was storing the string data type. So in this way you can also detect the type of the data which the variable is storing. In the similar way, you can also create a floating point data. Let's consider I am having a float data. I have created a variable which is a float data that is storing the 2.23. Now if I will check the type float data, I will execute this, I will get the class float. Okay. In this way you can check the different kind of data available inside our Python program. So since it is a dynamically typed, so we need not to define the type of the variable. The Python is going to detect the type of the variable and it is going to store the data accordingly. You need not to worry about the type of the variable you are storing inside the variable. Okay, so we are done with the variables part.